Hey guys, so while I'm working on this, I was watching, took a break and watched a video by Thinking Critical. And they were talking about Uncanny Valley. It's brand new today, so if you want to go check that out. And one of the things that popped to mind while listening was Uncanny Valley, what takes people out of the movie. And then I was thinking about, while I'm trying this, well, you have to pass the squint test. So today we're going to talk about the squint test. And this message isn't just for, like, you know, my friends who are listening. You know, you guys out there, my favorite YouTubers and whatever, whatnot, and everyone who comes to watch my channel here. Passing a successful adaptation requires a few things, and this message is actually specifically for Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Yes, I am talking to you guys. Part of a successful adaptation, like here I am doing Nightcrawler for the vac tube, and I am Star Warsifying him. He's a swashbuckler. I'm taking all the elements of his character and making them bloody obvious. But I'm giving him a Star Warsy jacket, Star Warsy armor, but I'm adding a couple of elements that speak to the swashbuckling side of him, like with the boots here and stuff like that, bit with the gloves, and that, and coming up with a weapon design. I'm going to give him a vibro sword, and that's going to work as his swashbuckling weapon. Now, Hugh, Ryan, this is the important part. I'm going to give you two examples of a win and a fail when it comes to an adaptation. And here's the thing with the win. It's a half win, because there's two parts of the squint test for that win, and only half wins. Now then, I'll give you the failure first. X-Men Days of Future Past, the movie. Really decent story, not bad, but the Sentinels were an absolute fail for me because they didn't pass the squint test. They didn't look like Sentinels. There were two variants. The future versions, which were just like Nimrod, or at least were ripped off from Nimrod. And the special CGI, you can do anything with them, you know, effect that didn't really take them away from the Destroyer, that didn't separate them any much more from the Destroyers and Thor. Now then, in their first version of the Sentinels, they looked like design rejects scaled up from iRobot, with white and hints of purple here and there. They didn't look like Sentinels. Sentinels have that very specific look. A bit of a crown around the brow. That pinkish gray face that is angular and almost pumpkin-like, almost. Like a cross between a pumpkin, Doctor Doom, and the grand villain digital thing from Tron, stretched out, maybe with a bit of MODOK, but all very angular and very simple, but inhuman. And that voice, that booming voice from the version 1 Sentinels that were like 20 feet or more, 25 feet, 30 tall, or however big they were. They were massive. But every Sentinel past that point was based off of that design. Even the blue and gray one that you saw around the time of Spider-Man in the 90s, when they had the Tri-Sentinel and he had to become Captain Universe for a bit. Anyway, those design elements through all of those versions, especially that face down to Nimrod, they're instantly recognizable. It didn't matter the variant. You saw them, bang, that's a Sentinel. Usually the purples, the variant purples of colors of purple were there, but you knew it was a Sentinel. I did not see that in X-Men Days of Future Past in both of those versions. Technically speaking, as far as the CGI was concerned, And it was well executed. But there were no voice, and there were none of that repartee, that inhuman repartee with the X-Men. Where there's a, where they're basically trying to, because they were supposed to present authority and command and ordering people to stop like they were officers of the law. And being part of a government program or secret government program, boom, that was part of their public address system. It was a big part of their character, made them inhuman, not unlike the Daleks from Doctor Who. So the Sentinels there were a design fail, and as a result, they're, the merchandise for that was eh. Whereas in the one you could get with some of the figures that you could assemble, that's a sought-after item because the thing's like this tall compared to a 6-inch figure. And that's proportionate. And it looks like a bloody Sentinel. Like, come on. So now we're going to go to the half win. And the half win, Hugh, is Wolverine, the costumes. Every kid who has wanted to see Wolverine on the big screen has wanted to see the costume with the cowl and the gloves. And for me, the most mature version of that costume was the classic burnt umber and tan, the dark brown and the light brown from the 80s. Because it played to his tactics. It played to his skills. He wasn't, oh my God, follow me, the big bouncing ball as he's tearing shit apart. From the 90s. Sure, Jim Lee's artwork was amazing, but those costumes, those uniforms, as well drawn as they were moving targets, and anything with a weapon should have been able to kill any single one of them, just be able to follow the moving targets like they were T-Rexes with lasers. So, for once, I am begging you, Ryan, since you worked so bloody hard to get him on board, and Hugh, since you had the balls to say, okay, to come out of retirement for this character, give it your all, do it with the costume. Give me the brown and tan for once past the squint test. Just once. And if it's the last time, total last time, very last time, then for me, it is a must to once, just once, get that part right. Because things in geek culture in Hollywood right now are garbage with very little points of hope or fun or even entertainment. They can't even get Scooby-Doo right. You guys can. Out of everybody right now, everybody making these movies, television shows, you two are the ones with all of our goodwill that is left. All of it is on you guys. For X-Men, to get it right, to get the stories right, to get the characterizations right, and not just make a joke about everything. Ryan, that's your job to be the joke. Hugh, it's your job to be the straight guy in this. It's Abbott and Costello, and you are Abbott. With adamantium claws, and I want to see you shred apart a fucking Sentinel. That's what I want to see for the bad guys. Just once. Just once.